Entering the ring is our class of yearling does. These does were born between September 1st of 23 and August 31st of 24. We have Tyler Calhoun from Caroline County and Jackson Kelly from Clark County. For our senior doe kids, we'll need an entry from Jackson Kelly, 2 entries from Spencer Bear, and 1 from Emily Summers.
We get started into our purebred does here in our first class. Really, really nice one. The young man's got this yearling doe, and he's got her dialed in, looking good, still fresh for one, but boy, you love the mass. She is so wide and dimensional and powerful. Big top, got a nice hip laid into her. Love the rib cage and body volume of that one. She's so bold sprung, soft and deep back through her rear rib and flank, just really well proportioned and balanced to add to that power and dimension and good feet, good bone work as well. That's a nice one there to win. Doe that comes into second, you like her, a lot of things about her on the profile. She's long neck, she's high tying, she's got some length and levelness to her, very smooth in terms of her pattern in the way that she's built. Her problems are more from a muscle standpoint. It's just a little narrower in the way that she's built, a little flatter in her rib, a little flatter from behind, but awfully nice pattern, good line though, Doe there to come in second. Nice job, congratulations. Super stout, powerful one on top to win. I just keep this.
So first place goes to Jackson Kelly, second place goes to Tyler Calhoun. Entering the ring now are our senior doe kids, born from September of 2024 to December 31st of 2024. We have Jackson Kelly from Clark County, 2 entries from Spencer Bear of Fauquier, and 1 from Emily Summers from Page. Intermediate doe kids, we need you to check in, please. Shelby Shiflett, Wesley Coleman, Lance Clark, Emma Shiflett, Jackson Kelly, and Virginia Brown.
Interesting top pair here in this class. You got two, I think, high quality does that bring positives to the class, but they're very different in their time and kind. Obviously, the bigger, broodier, bolder female of the pair is the one that I chose to lead off with. To me, she just strikes me as a little more female in her look. I really like the rib cage, body volume, and depth that this one offers. A great top line, still one that ties together in terms of her balance. Probably, in my opinion, her proportions are probably even better than the doe that stands behind her. Is she quite as heavy boned? Is she quite as muscular in her muscle shape? No, but to me, she's just more female and striking and femininity and broodiness. I think she's the one that comes to the top to me to win the class. No question. The one in second's got a cool look to her. She's heavy bone. She's stout featured. She's really heavy muscled. She's really good shape. Young man's done a great job with her in terms of her presentation. She's trim and fresh in her look. She wants to get just a little more upright in her shoulder. She's not quite as level in her lines. You don't see near the growth, the mass, the substance, I think, in that female there as we find in the one that leads off the class. But high quality, really good, stout features. She'll be a fun one to breed on. I think she offers a lot of good things as we start to study. Get on the other end of the class, we got a pair that just need to be stouter. They get a little frailer and flatter in their makeup from a muscle and bone standpoint, like the lines of the female that comes in a third. Another good bodied one, just needs to be powered up. The one we conclude the class with, once again, just a little frailer bone, a little narrower chested in her makeup, but sure one you like how tall fronted, long bodied, and level she is to complete the class.
Results for our senior doe kids: first place goes to Spencer Bear, second to Jackson Kelly, third Emily Summers, and fourth Spencer Bear. Entering the ring now are our intermediate doe kids. These were born January 1st of 25 to March 15th of 25. We have two entries from Shelby Shiflett of Madison County, one entry from Wesley Coleman from Augusta, one from Lance Clark of Amherst, one from Emma Shiflett of Madison, one from Jackson Kelly of Clark, and one Virginia Brown from Isle of Wight. We'll have a junior doe entry in the next class by Wesley Coleman.
it's a little more interesting class. I think after you get off this top female to lead off with, and she's no question the most striking one when she hits the ring. She's long necked and high tying. She got a very much of a striking ring presence to her when she comes in. Really good bone. Female's got some power, probably as good a muscle, particularly on the top side of her skeleton. When you start to study her down her top, she's level and square out through her hip. To me, she just puts the most positive things together, I think, and she wins the class pretty handily for me. After that, I think it gets a lot closer. This really cool mark, uniquely marked doe. I think second, third here, these two a little bit closer, a little bit different in kind. This female comes in second. I think she's a little wider chested, a little more opened up. I like the boldness to her rib cage and the body volume and depth. And I think you get off the side, she proportions a little better. But then you get in behind her, and here's where she really has her biggest advantage. I think she's a bolder, bigger, stouter top, thicker ended doe to lead off and come in second. No question, the female that comes into third, I like her extra smoothness. She's probably taller at the point of her shoulders, a lot of length from there back, but just gets a little flatter ribbed, a little flatter muscle. Big bodied female that the young lady has that I like a lot of things about, like her body type. That's probably what I like most about her. But once again, she's a little shorter, plainer up through her front 1/3. Doesn't have quite the look on the profile as some of the ones ahead of her. Another good spine, good made, good pattern female that just gets a little narrower and a little frailer. I think we round out the class with some bigger frame. Females that's got some body, some substance and dimension to them. I think they just lack just a little extra stoutness. They lack just a little extra balance and look, I think, to compete any higher in the class.
For our intermediate doe class, first place goes to Jackson Kelly. Second, Shelby Shiflett. Third, Wesley Coleman. Fourth, Shelby Shiflett. Fifth, Emma Shiflett. Sixth, Virginia Brown. And seventh, Lance Clark. Our final class in our registered breeding doe show is our junior doe kids born after March the 16th. We have an entry from Wesley Coleman from Augusta County.
Single entry in this class, but a nice female, one that you really like from the ground up. She's good in her structural design. She's got some bone. She's got some top shape and thickness to her about her. She'll be a nice one. We'll bring her back here just a moment for our overall grand drive.
We have a first place going to Wesley Coleman of Augusta County with his junior doe kid. We will now call back our first and second places for our champion purebred breeding doe drive. From our yearling does, we need Tyler Calhoun and Jackson Kelly. From our senior does, we need Spencer Bear and Jackson Kelly. And from our intermediates, we need Jackson Kelly and Shelby Shiflett. And returning from juniors, Wesley Coleman. After this drive, we'll roll right into our commercial doe show. If you're in the lightweight commercial doe class 1, please check in. Lightweight commercial does class 1, please check in.
We'll give them a big round of applause. Congratulate our young people here in our champion doe drive here. Four really nice class winners, three strong contenders in second place. You get them out here and you find positives in each one of them. You find things you like about them because they all have some quality. They all have something that you can kind of gravitate towards. And I think we get them out here, though, for me, there's two females that I think pair up in a lot of ways and similarities and mirror a lot of the things that you really try in terms of what I think you make females look like. And, the maternal ability, the broodiness, the mass, the substance of them, I think they're really good. And both of them hit me pretty hard when they come in their classes. They come back out here. There's some smaller differences. I mean, I think our champion, she's really, really big at the ground. She's got heavy bone, and I really like the hip structure and power, and she complements that with the extra mass and power, but not to take away from her reserve, but they're both really, really good. So congratulations here. Nice way to start our goat show here this afternoon. We'll go out and select your champion and reserve at this time.
Your champion comes from the yearling doe class, and reserve comes from the senior doe kid class. Hunter Strassnyder, can you check in, please? All right, we'll start with our commercial doe show now. We have the lightweight division. We have three classes in this lightweight division. In Class 1, we have Connor Dilworth from Caroline, Hunter Strassnyder from Frederick, Wyatt Manbeck from Augusta, Grayson Long from Rockingham, Walker Manbeck from Augusta, Emily Hammer from Rockingham, and Ellie Meanley from Hanover. These goats range in weight from 45 to 58 pounds. Sawyer Wilkins, can you please check in? Sawyer Wilkins, please check in.
Good lightweight class here. Young man, I really, really like this doe that we lead off the class. And there's four really good ones on the top of this class. I think all of them are pretty high quality individuals. That doe that leads off with, boy, she's awfully striking. She's got a great look to her of balance. Just started her head. Beautiful head, nice neck, high neck shoulder attachment there. She's so good down her top line. Big, nice square hip laid into her. I love this one's hip and hind leg, and when she gets in motion, I really love her at the ground. She's got great feet and leg structure, but still, when you get on top of her, she got a nice shape down her top in terms of muscle. She's not the thickest when you get right in behind her. That's probably the advantage the doe in second has, is she's the most powerful when you get right in behind her. But boy, I love the smoothness, attractiveness, and neatness of that doe that we lead off with. Stout, powerful female that comes into second, and I do like that about her. She's really big in her upper hips. She's got a lot of dimension when you get right in behind her. A little more open-shouldered, not quite as level in her top line, level it back out through her hip is what we find in our class winner, but another very quality individual there to come in second. Female in third has got some similarities to our class winner in terms of smoothness and design. I think on the profile, she gets a little narrower underneath, a little flatter when you start to study her in her rib cage and her body, but still that one there balances pretty good in terms of her profile. Just like to open her up a little bit. Interesting female, I think, just a small statured. I think you kind of changed a little bit type and styles and where she's at. Boy, she's really cool. She's got a neat look to her, and for one that size, she's got some bone and power to her. I just don't know if there's enough female there today to get her any higher in a pretty competitive class. I talked to the other three individuals we conclude the class with. All three of them just a touch greener and where they're at in their stage of condition. We'd like to stouten them up just a little bit. Young lady's doe's got some bone work and stoutness to her, but once again, just needs some more time, I think, on feed. Much to be said for the two we rounded out the class with. They got some body and substance to them, just a little greener in their body condition.
Congratulations to our first class of lightweight commercial does. First place goes to Wyatt Manbeck. Second, Emily Hammer. Third, Walker Manbeck. Fourth, Hunter Strassnyder. Fifth, Ellie Meanley. Sixth, Grayson Long. And seventh, Connor Dilworth. Up next is our second class of lightweight commercial does. In this class, we have Alyssa Kopp of Washington County, Lucy Williams of Essex, Emma Wood of Page, Sawyer Wilkins from Rockingham, Reagan Loker of Clark, Ren Manbeck of Augusta, and Kate Willis from Caroline. This class ranges in weight from 60 to 68 pounds.
great class here. There's about 5 of them, I think, that are pretty nice. They get pretty competitive, close between each other, and then we just kind of got to start to sorting them. And you get down these top 2, a lot of similarities in those. And this one that leads off, I just really like her. I mean, she starts off, she's so extended and neat up through her front 1/3. That thing is dead level in her top. Once again, love this one's hip and hind leg and the way that it fits together. Her length from hooks to pins, her squareness sets down a really good hind leg. And to me, her biggest class advantage is when we get her in motion. That thing, she gets out, she covers the ground, she sets him down, and she stays so collected in herself as she gets in motion. She's so good at the ground, her structural base, really nice. And then just awesome in terms of her look of balance, still powerful when you get in behind her. Now, I will say I'd like to just open her up a little more through her center body and give her just a little more softness. And I know we're still looking at lighter weight individuals. They're still immature, and so I appreciate that. But if I was going to change her, that's probably where it would be. And that's where you really like this doe that comes in a second. Boy, she is bold through her rib cage and body. Super soft back through her rear rib and flank. You get off to a 3/4 angle in this one. She opens up down her top, and she's another one that's got a big old stout hip and powerful when you study her, and you can see that shape working. She's a little shorter hip. She's not as tall fronted or extended up through her front 1/3. That's just being nitpicky. Very, very nice doe, young lady. Nice job. Well presented, high quality individual. Next, we get on down the line to maybe a few more, just find some holes in them. This one's a little shorter necked and not as heavy in terms of her structural base, but boy, that's a well-proportioned, bold-sprung, big-bodied, thick-ended, powerful doe. Doesn't have maybe a few extras, I think, to go on top of the class. I told this young lady here, this doe here, we get her put together, that comes into 4th. I mean, she's awfully, awfully nice. I think there's a lot of things. She is more extended up through her front end. She is a little heavier in terms of her structural base than the doe that stands ahead of her. She wants to get a little tight in her spine as we get her in motion. I like to relax her there. And that's where the other doe that stands behind her, boy, I wish she'd cooperate today and just get out and move, because I think there's a lot of things to like, and we get them put together on the stand. I like this doe a great deal. She's super fresh. She's super well presented. She's another one that's got some stoutness to her and some width and dimension. Just never wanted to really relax and get out and go and let us really evaluate her and study her on the move. But I think that doe's got an awfully good future ahead of her. Nice, nice individual. A couple of frailer made ones on the other end of the class. I think certainly ones that's got some potential to them in terms of some growth and performance. They simply need some more time on feed. I told them both I like to stouten them up in their bone work, open them up in their skeletal width to help improve them. Nice, nice class. Very, very competitive on the top end.
Results for your second class. First place goes to Reagan Loker. Second, Emma Wood. Third, Ren Manbeck. Fourth, Alyssa Kopp. Fifth, Sawyer Wilkins. Sixth, Lucy Williams. And seventh, Kate Willis. We'll now have our third and final class in our lightweight division. We'll need first and second place does from classes 1 and 2 to check back in. Class 1 and 2 first and second place does, please check back in. Top three, please check back in. Top 3. Class 3, we have London Vanderhyde of Pittsylvania, Caitlin Meanley of Hanover, Emily Hartzell of Clark, Wyatt Holloway of Rockingham, Skylar Zolman of Rockbridge, Samantha Wills from Fluvanna, Sawyer Wilkins from Rockingham, Jack Bagoon from Augusta, and Clara Grubb from Wythe. These goats range in weight from 69 to 75 pounds. From Class 1, we need Wyatt Manbeck, Emily Hammer, and Walker Manbeck. And from Class 2, we need Reagan Loker, Ren Manbeck, and Emma Wood.
really a nice one on top of this class. She is presented extremely well, very, very fresh in her look and her presentation. She's heavy boned, she's stout and made, one that's got a tremendous amount of top shape and power. You come back to her hip, really dimensional when you get right in behind her, and then she puts it into a very nicely balanced package. She gets out and goes. That's a nice one there. She's an easy winner in my mind. After that, I think he gets just a little bit tougher. I think he's top end are all still really good. I think it's female in second, the one that kind of follows her. She's the other one that's got some power to her. She's got some freshness to her and some thickness. She doesn't have near as much as the body volume, depth of flank, and just the shape of rib cage that we find in our class winner. But another one's big top, got some shape, neatness, and look. I think that's where she kind of excels. The other two right behind her, she's just a little longer and a little more extended. I like the bone work of the next female. I like her shape that she has, a little shorter body, not quite as extended, not quite as smooth and neat in her look. The next female that we have, she's probably as nice a fronted in terms of length of neck and trimness and neatness and freshness. From there back, she wants to flatten up in her rib cage, particularly you get right in behind her. She wants to flatten down in her legs. She's not as opened up and as massive in terms of her true muscle shape as we find a couple of those that stand ahead of her, but still one that's nice fronted, good balance there to go. I talked to the young man here comes next, and one that I like on the top side in terms of the way she spans and her width. She just comes down. She's not as big in her forearm. She's not as heavy in her bone structure. She strikes me as just a notch frailer than those ones that stand ahead of her. The next one I think we have is one that I told the young lady more time will be the friend of this one, because I think he continues to grow and develop and get a little more further along, and I think he'll come together because he does have a nice shape to him. He's got some thickness to him. He's got some bone. He's just a little raw looking. We find some to conclude the class that just I think they need a little more balance, a little more look of style, proportionality, just a little bit maybe to get any higher, but certainly ones that have some body to them. Young man's doe coming at me right now does have some body and substance to him. Got a couple that have some length and extension, just a little flatter and frailer to conclude the class.
Our third and final class of lightweight does. First place goes to Clara Grubb of Wythe. Second place, Wyatt Holloway of Rockingham. Third place, London Vanderhyde of Pittsylvania. Fourth, Samantha Wills from Fluvanna. Fifth, Sawyer Wilkins from Rockingham. Sixth, Emily Hartzell of Clark. Seventh, Jack Bagoon of Augusta. Eighth, Shyler Zolman of Rockbridge. And ninth, Caitlin Meanley of Hanover. We'll now do our champion drive for lightweight commercial does. From Class 1, we have Wyatt Manbeck, Emily Hammer, and Walker Manbeck. From Class 2, we have Reagan Loker, Emma Wood, and Ren Manbeck. And from Class 3, we have Clara Grubb, Wyatt Holloway, and London Vanderhyde. Our middleweight Class 1, please check in. Middleweight Class 1, please check in.
Great division here as we bring all of our winners back out here to select a top three here in our lightweight division. And, you know, we started off great with that Class 1 winner, so attractive, so nice and fresh, great design and build and balance in this female, still offers some muscle shape. I think to complement that for a lightweight one that's still got a long way to go in her life to kind of get there, but that's an awfully good one. Young man's got a great start, high quality. We come in that second class. I love this one in terms of structure. She's so good at the ground. She's got great feet. She gets out and she moves just so flawlessly and easy, and she's easy to watch because everything stays collected and put together extremely well. Another fresh, nice fronted one. That just puts a lot of positives together. If we look to change her, we could open her up in her rib cage, make her just a little bolder, a little more massive, I think, as we look to make one that's awfully good just a little bit better. that last class we just talked about. So bold, so stout, so robust in the way that she's built. She's big top and thick ended. I love this one, center body. She does have the advantage, I think, over that middleweight one in this division in terms of her rib cage, her body volume, and depth. She's not quite as neat from her shoulder forward up there through her front 1/3 and her neck and extension. She might just be a little bit shorter there, maybe a little thicker. She just doesn't grab you. But boy, that one there's got a lot of muscle and power. So certainly three very, very good class winners. I like all three of them. I like our heavyweight here out of this division. She'll be your champion. Congratulations.
Your champion from the lightweight division comes from Class 3, exhibited by Clara Grubb. Your reserve comes from Class 2, exhibited by Reagan Loker. Overall third also comes from Class 2, exhibited by Emma Wood. We'll now start our middleweight division with Class 1 middleweights. We have Eleanor Picken of Rockingham, Gage Sather of Louisa, Lucy Williams of Essex, Colton Hemp from Augusta, Evelyn Dudding of Craig, Brody Pugh from Frederick, Mason Beamer from Rockingham, Graceland Swisher from Augusta, and Ryan Ashley Brown from Isle of Wight, and Stella Zolman of Rockbridge. These goats range in weight from 76 to 78 pounds.
Very nice doe here to win this class, and I thought she was the winner when she first come in. You go on handler, she's impressive, and then the longer she's out here, really grows on it. Wide, dimensional, deep. Love the rib cage, the body volume and depth, and that's her big advantage for me, particularly over the second and third. She's just so much better in terms of her shape of rib, her depth of rib, her substance that she has. Boy, she is massive. She's big top. She's wide pinned and thick ended when you get right in behind her. Just a massive, and still one that just ties together really well. She's not as long spine and extended maybe as the other two, but ties together well, proportioned extremely well. Next two does are really thick. They're really big top. They're really expressive. I like the power that they offer. I think both of them need just a shot more center body. They get just a little tighter in terms of rib cage and body volume and depth. I like the extra levelness in the top line of this female that we come into second. I'd like to lay her back at her shoulder a little bit, give her a little more slope and angle to her shoulder, set her down maybe a notch truer out of her front end as you study her from there in the way that she sets down out of her front leg structure there, but still a powerful, wide dimensional female, a little leveler in her top than the female comes in third. Female in third's a little longer necked. Another one that's really big top, really expressive. Like to give her a little more center body as well. She wants to shallow back to her flank a little bit. She wants to get up in her top a little bit as we asked her to get in motion. And even at times as you stand there on the profile, she could get just a little tight in her spine. The next one that we have has got some bone work, got some stoutness. She never wanted to relax and get out and go. She struggled at the lead just a little bit. Like to raise her up at her pin placement. She wants to get a little steeper in her hip, a little rougher in her top line, I think, to come in next. Smooth pattern female the young man has. I like that one from the side. I told him I'd like to power her up, make her just a little stouter. We get right in behind her. Once again, we got another one that's got some body and substance to her, just a little plainer, a little flatter. Tall fronted, long bodied doe that the young lady has is just a little frailer, flatter, and narrower. We round out the class with a trio that just need a notch more power, a notch more real balance, I think, to compete with some of them ahead of them, but some good functional, good structured females to round out the class with.
Medium weight class 1 results. First place goes to Evelyn Dudding. Second place, Mason Beamer. Third place, Eleanor Pickin. Fourth, Brody Pugh. Fifth, Colton Hemp. Sixth, Graceland Swisher. Seventh, Stella Zolman. Eighth, Ryan Ashley Brown. Ninth, Lucy Williams. And 10th, Gage Sather. Next up is our second class of middleweight commercial does. In our second class, we have Graceland Swisher from Augusta County, Samantha Wills from Fluvanna, Hayden Wells of Rockbridge, Cade Altman of Orange, Colton Atkins of Warren, Ayla Dawn Fortune of Augusta, Amelia Scott from Madison, Samuel Pulliam from Giles, and Lauren Wright from Page. These does range in weight from 80 to 86 pounds. Class 3 middleweights, please check in. Class 3 middleweight does, please check in.
Really good female here. Young man does a nice job with her too. One you really like. Everything you talk about in second and third, having muscle and shape, and then having a nice look and trimness. She's the one that puts it all together in terms of just having one package. A female that's big forearm. She's bold sprung. She's got rib shape, body volume, and depth. She's got power. Gets out and goes as well as anything. I love the length of body. This female's super long bodied, and still she holds herself together really well. And she gets on the move. Her top line stays collected, just very correct. She got good feet at the ground. She's heavy bone and stout built. I like that one there quite a bit. Second and third's a lot closer, and you can flip-flop them back and forth. I went with the one that's just a little more opened up through her center body and her rib cage and her body volume. I think she's deeper back through her rib and flank. To me, that helps her proportion just a little bit nicer and better. She does have a little more shoulder. She's not as flat and angular in the way she lays into her shoulder. There's the female that stands behind her, but I still think I like the rib cage and the depth better. Still one that's probably just a notch stouter when you get right in behind her down the lower portion of her leg. But nonetheless, the one that comes in third, she's huge topped. I love the handling quality. The way that she just progressively gets wider and thicker all the way through is very, very impressive. She's a flatter shoulder, smoother one, as we just talked about with that female. Having a little bit of shoulder, does have advantage there, just a little shallower. She doesn't have near the depth of body, the boldness of rib that we find, particularly in those top two. Female that comes in next, if I could figure her right in behind her shoulder, she really gets in contention to move up a couple of spots, but she just wants to get a little easy and a little weak right in behind her shoulders. After that, she's built really good. One that's got some muscle and some thickness, got some presence about her. You like her look, her freshness that she has. Just needs to be better behind her shoulders. Young lady, I talked to her, got a nice doe that's got a lot of really good pieces to her. Just unfortunately lacks some of the extra leg hair, but she is just a little bit lighter in terms of her bone work. She's tall fronted, long body, a little shallower, a little frailer there at the ground. We got one that's got some body that just gets a little plainer in her look. As we going down the class, we find some that have some pieces in terms of structural correctness to get out and go. They just lack some of the extra balance. They get a little narrower and flatter, I think, compared to some of those. Very nice class, very complete, very high quality female on top to win.
Congratulations to Class 2 middleweight commercial does. First place goes to Samuel Pulliam of Giles. Second place, Hayden Wells of Rockbridge. Third, Colton Atkins of Warren. Fourth goes to Lauren Wright. Fifth, Samantha Wills. Sixth, Kate Altman. Seventh, Ayla Dawn Fortune. Eighth, Graceland Swisher. And ninth, Amelia Scott. Our third and final middleweight class, we have Lucas Gokenhauer of Shenandoah, Elizabeth Summers of Page, Jackson Kelly of Clark, Tegan Johnston of Augusta, Carly Howdy-Shell from Augusta, Brody Sather from Louisa, Virginia Brown, Isle of Wight, Caitlin Barrett from Botetourt, Emma Wisecarver of Frederick, and Clara Grubb from Wythe. These goats range in weight from 87 to 92 pounds. Again, we will need the top 3 goats from classes 1 and 2 and 3 for our middleweight champion drive.
Very, very nice class. I told some of these young ladies it's got some really good does on down here. This is certainly the deepest class that we've had thus far, as far as just depth all the way down through here. So I think each one got some really good things about them. This one we lead off with, I like her a great deal. I mean, you just start at the ground, you talk about one and the feet and legs and the way that she goes. Young lady does a phenomenal job at getting this doe shown. I like how she gets her out. She walks so effortlessly, smoothly, and easy, stays collected. Length of body's good, mass is good. Both these top two are really opened up and powerful and got good rib cages and body volume laid in them. The one we win with, she's just got a little more. She's a little longer hip. She sets up higher at her pin placement. That extra length that she offers, you put your hands on her, she's super massive and powerful. She's just a little bit more than what we have in second. Very, very nice female there. Congratulations on a class winner. As I said, the female in second's a lot like her. I mean, she is so stout. She's so opened up. You get that three-quarter angle. She gives you all the kind of shape and look that you want to see. The right kind of rib cage laid into her. A little lower in her pin placement, not quite as neat up through her front 1/3, not quite as robust in just of her overall makeup. Very good doe, though, young man. I think you nothing to be ashamed of there. Very good class, good top pair. The different one of the class is the one that comes into third. She's the trimmer one of these top three and even maybe 4 or 5 when you get on down. She's tall fronted, extended up through her front 1/3. I like her cleanliness, her neatness from the side. I think she's in the right rig in terms of where she's presented here today. And still one, she's muscular, she's thick, she's shapely, she's got the right kind of power. I guess for me, as I compare to those other two, I don't see quite as much in terms of her center body. She's a little shallower, a little flatter, a little harder in her rib cage compared to those two, but a neat doe. Got some breeding value. I think that one's got some awesome pieces to her there to come in third. So we come on down. I talked to these two young ladies. They get just a little deeper fronted, but they're quality individuals. It's got some shape and power and substance to them. Their functionality's right, just maybe not quite the presence. This one here, she gets a little bit deceiving because you want to just first say she gets a little plainer and flatter, but she's actually got some shape to her. I think relatively we start to compare, she does get narrower, flatter, and lighter muscle. But once again, in a very deep class, she's got some quality. She's got a lot of things you can like about her. So we get them down in the class once again. Good females that offer some good parts and pieces to them. I think in terms of some pattern and some lines, I think all of them just need to be stoutened up a little bit, add a little muscle shape to them to get more competitive.
Congratulations to Class 3 middleweight does. First place goes to Clara Grupp. Second place goes to Lucas Gokenhauer. Third place to Jackson Kelly. Fourth, Emma Wisecarver. Fifth, Carly Howdyshell. Sixth, Elizabeth Summers. Seventh, Tegan Johnston. Eighth, Caitlin Barrett. Ninth, Virginia Brown. And 10th, Brody Sather. At this time, we'll be pulling back our top 3 from classes 1, 2, and 3 in the middleweight division for our champion middleweight division drive. While we line those up, if you are in the heavyweight class 1, you can make your way to the ready area. Today's show would not be possible without our sponsors. The State Fair of Virginia supports our youth livestock shows by providing this venue, covering our judges' expenses, and paying out over $35,000 in cash premiums and $28,500 in earned scholarships for our exhibitors. Some of our other sponsors this year, First Bank and Trust has provided a T-shirt. Farm Credit of the Virginias is providing water for our exhibitors and staff. Our general sponsors this week supporting all of our shows are the Craig County Farm Bureau and Washington County Farm Bureau. Additional sponsors specifically for goats includes Wells Forge, LLC, Middle Lane Farm, Justin and Tina Vi, Hubbard Feeds and Showright, Will Strecker, S&R Meat Goats, the French Family, Sunnyside Farms, and Cumberland County Farm Bureau. Some highlights for tomorrow's schedule for Friday, October the 3rd at 9 o'clock. Sheep Showmanship will begin tomorrow at 9 o'clock, followed by the Market Goat Show. And skillathons will be available for all exhibitors from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow. So some highlights for tomorrow's schedule. We'll start tomorrow, Friday, October the 3rd, with sheep showmanship in this ring. Entering the ring is our champion middleweight division drive. From Class 1, we have Evelyn Dudding, Mason Beamer, and Eleanor Pickin. From Class 2, we have Samuel Pulliam, Hayden Wells, and Colton Atkins. And from Class 3, Clara Grubb, Lucas Gokenauer, and Jackson Kelly. We will have a grand champion commercial doe drive after our divisions. That will include lightweight, middleweight, and heavyweight champions for that grand champion drive.
Help me congratulate here our middleweight division winners as we bring them back out here for our drive. Very, very high quality set, great set of kids working really hard, competing out here. 3 class winners. Class 1, she's deep, she's wide, super dense. She's got the right kind of power and body type for me. Love a lot of things about her. I think unfortunately today there's two big-time heaters, I think, standing behind her. I'd like to just extend her out. She gets just a little quicker in her makeup, a little shorter coupled compared to them. But take nothing away in her own right. That's an awfully nice female with a lot of positives and a lot of good. These next two, I like them a lot. I think they hit me really hard. Ultra smooth patterned female that comes in out of that second class. The way that one ties together for one with that kind of mass and substance is pretty unique. Here's another one that's so good at the ground and the way she goes and her feet and legs. I think it's all straight and square and true. She may not be quite as massive in terms of her bone work, and forearm is the one that stands right in behind her. But I do like her hip and hind leg structure and the way her tail sets in there. I think it's really good, level and square. Awfully nice female young man doing a great job. The last one we just talked about, she's so dense, she's so opened up and dimensional in the way that she's built. She's big over the top side of her skeleton. She's powerful when you get right in behind her in terms of her muscle shape. She may not be quite as opened up right at the ground as maybe the female that sits right in front of her there. She might close up just a little bit as you want to get right in and study her track away. But those are two very good ones. I like them both quite a bit. The one I like today, Class 3. She'll be your winner. Congratulations.
Your champion middleweight division doe comes from Class 3. Your reserve comes from Class 2. Your third overall also comes from Class 3. So that champion middleweight was Clara Grubb, reserve was Samuel Pulliam, and third overall was Lucas Gokenauer. We'll now start our final and heavyweight division for commercial does. We have 3 classes in this heavyweight division, and then we'll have the heavyweight division drive, and then we'll have our grand champion commercial doe drive. Entering the ring, our first class of heavyweight commercial does, we have Fred Widener from Pennsylvania, Wyatt Manbeck from Augusta, Catherine Haygood of Pennsylvania, Carolyn Brown from Isle of Wight, Rylan Scott of Charlotte, London Vanderhyde of Pennsylvania, Madison Strassnyder of Frederick, Jackson Kelly of Clark, Henrik Wells of Rockbridge, and Levi Gokenhauer of Shenandoah. This first class ranges in weight from 93 to 97 pounds.
Great class of females here to sort through some depth, some differences. It's a lot of fun, entertaining just to kind of study them, evaluate them, compare them to one another. And you get into some quality like this. It's sure a lot of fun. Young ladies, female on top. She hit me pretty hard, and I kind of never waver because to me, she puts the most good together. She's the hardest one to find a major hole in. She is so smooth for one that's got that kind of power. And I mean, she is a little bit deceiving because you don't just gravitate to her and think, wow, that's just an overpowering female. But boy, she is super wide, really powerful down her top, good level hip laid into her. And then you get off to the side. And for one to be built like that's that smooth and angular and neat up through her front 1/3 is pretty special, I think, because I like that about her. When you get in behind her, everything's square and true. I think she sits down with as much genuine width as anything. I think she's good at the ground in terms of her feet and leg structure. And then you get her out in motion, you really, really like her. We follow up here. I think second and third are a lot of similarities in those. I like the thickness and expression and muscle shape they have. I think the one that comes into second is just a little heavier in her bone work, a little bigger in her forearm, a little stouter in her features compared to the one in third. I don't know if either one of them, they both get just a little more open shouldered, particularly over the top side of their skeleton. The one in second, she wants to open up a little bit there. I don't know if she ties together quite as smooth and neat, particularly when you get them in motion. The doe that comes into third, we need to stouten her up. Just give her just a notch more bone. I think she needs to sit down on a little stouter foot and bone work, bigger forearm, I think, to compete with those two right ahead of her. But another big top, thick-ended one that sure got the right kind of shape. All three of those are super good in terms of their condition, their flesh. I think their presentations are spot on here today. Nice trio there on top. The one that comes next from shoulders back, I think she's really good. She's burly and wide and opened up through her center body and ribs. She's got some thickness to her. She gets just a little easy right in behind her shoulders. I'd like to stouten her up right there. Another trim-made, pretty attractive type female that comes next and needs some more body volume and depth. We have another one that's just a good functional female that the young lady has that probably gets just a little bit plainer. I think we got a pair of them from there that just need a shot more real muscle shape. The young man's probably needs a little more center rib and body, but really good build, really good patterned individuals. Just need a thing or two to be tweaked, I think, to get them any higher. Round out with a couple that are good pattern, good made, good line that need some more muscle, but a very good class. Lots of depth. Congratulations here on a highly competitive class.
Congratulations to our first class of heavyweight commercial does. First place goes to Madison Strossnyder, second to Henrik Wells, third Wyatt Manbeck, fourth Levi Gokenhauer, fifth Jackson Kelly, sixth London Vanderhyde, seventh Fred Widener, eighth Catherine Haygood, ninth Rylan Scott, and 10th Caroline Brown. Entering the ring now is our second class of heavyweight commercial does. We have Eleanor Picken of Rockingham, Evelyn Dudding of Craig, Hayden Wells of Rockbridge, Brody Pugh of Frederick, Caitlin Mayberry of Campbell, Carolyn Haygood of Pittsylvania, Madison Strossnyder of Frederick, Caitlin Barrett of Botetourt, Lindsay Babb of Page, and Wesley Coleman of Augusta. These does range in weight from 98 to 106 pounds.
I'll be honest, this is a little more of a challenging class, I think, to kind of sort through. I don't know if there's one that jumps out there and says that they're the winner, but there's several, I think, very nice ones that all offer something. But in the end, this young lady's doe, I think for me, she's the one that puts the most positive. She is the one that's the hardest to pick a hole in. You get off to the side of this one on the profile, and she's got the right kind of look in terms of balance and proportions. She's really good rib. She's a bold bodied one. I like the rib cage, the depth of flank. I love her hip. She sets up high. Her pin placement sets down square. She's got true width and dimension. Still, you get her out in motion. She stays very good. I was pretty comfortable that she was the winner. This painted up red and white one that comes in next, there's some give and take between her and third. I think she's better right in behind her shoulders. I think she squares up stouter and thicker. I think the one in third's probably a little denser, wider, deeper over her loin region there. But in the end, I like the extra smoothness that the one in second offers. I think she's a better body, deeper flanked individual. I think she sets down probably square and truer when she wants to get out in motion. But she is just a little narrow over her loin. She wants a narrow back from hooks to pins as well. Muscular topped. I like the extra crispness and shape of this one over her loin. She's another one that's pretty impressive when you get right in behind her. But once again, just a little bit tighter about her rib cage and features. Maybe not quite as heavy in terms of her structure and her bone right at the ground. Maybe stouting her up just a notch to make her just a little better. Ultra smooth female that comes in next. I like the way she blends. I like her top line, but she just gets a little bit plainer up through her front 1/3. She's a little shorter neck. Got a little more openness in her shoulder. I like to clean her up, make her just a little bit nicer right in there. Next one coming around the young lady has, if we could fix him right in there behind his shoulders, I think you got one that can probably contend to go a little bit higher. Just wants to get a little easy right there, not quite as stout and muscular as some of the ones ahead of him. The red one that comes around, I told this young man that one there is in terms of pattern, tall fronted, long bodied, level, square. She's got all of it going for her. She needs to have some more bone, some more stoutness for her muscle for me today. So we go down the class, find another one that's got some muscularity and shape, just kind of piecey and doesn't quite tie it together quite as nice. We find some females to round out the class, have some functionality, some quality about them, just a little plainer in their look, plainer in their muscle. Interesting class, very complete female on top to win.
Congratulations to our second class of heavyweight commercial does. First place goes to Caitlin Mayberry of Campbell. Second to Eleanor Picken of Rockingham. Third, Hayden Wells of Rockbridge. Fourth, Madison Strassnyder. Fifth, Evelyn Dudding. Sixth, Wesley Coleman. Seventh, Brody Pugh. Eighth, Carolyn Haygood. Ninth, Lindsay Babb. And 10th, Caitlin Barrett. Our third and final class of heavyweight does, we have Shyler Zolman of Rockbridge, Madison Strassnyder of Frederick, Grant Grubb of Wythe, Henrik Wells of Rockbridge, Amelia Scott from Madison, and Kate Altman from Orange, and Lucas Gokenhauer of Shenandoah. These does range in weight from 110 to 120 pounds. Again, we need first, second, and third from classes 1 and 2 to be in the ready area for heavyweights. First, second, and third from classes 1 and 2. We also need our champion, reserve, and third overall from lightweight and middleweight divisions to please make your way to the ready area for our champion commercial doe drive.
Very nice set of heavyweights, and these top two or three are very good. And boy, just the longer you study in this class winner, I think she really grows on me anyway. And you start at the ground. I don't know if we've seen one that is that genuine and true in their structural base. She sets down so good. Her shoulder and her front leg structure, square and true. Same for her hip and her hind leg, but she still has the right kind of width and dimension. I really like when this one gets out. She feels her track. She goes. She's comfortable. She's correct and true off of both ends of her skeleton. And then she combines that with being wide-chested and opened up and having some muscle and shape and femininity about her. Now, is she as wide and as stout and probably massive as her second place? Probably not. She's a notch taller fronted. She's really fresh through her front 1/3. I think she blends together a little better. She ties in a little tighter and neater over the top side of her shoulder. I think she blends in her shoulder just a little better and neater. That female there, I think she's really good from a structure standpoint. Combines it with the right kind of balance and freshness. Just really, really like her when she gets on the move. 1 and second's just so wide. I mean, she is wide-chested, opened up, big forearm. She's got a great big top laid into her. I love the power she has through her hip and leg. Sets down square on her hind leg from a structure standpoint, but just a little bit coarser maybe in her shoulder. I don't really want to say coarser. She opens up a little bit in the top side of her shoulder particularly. She's not quite as neat and fresh up through her front 1/3. You could set her down just a notch square off those front legs compared to her class winner. Nice pair there, I think, on the top end of this class. Great body female that comes in next. This rib cage in this female, from her forerib to rear rib and flank, is absolutely perfect in the way that it lays in her in terms of depth of rib and body volume and depth. She's got a lot of power. She just gets a little bit shorter and plainer in her neck. Maybe not quite as extra bone and power as those two, but another nice female here to round out our top three. We got another nice doe that comes around next that I think's got some awfully good pieces to her. She runs into a pretty competitive class. She's big over the top side of her skeleton, flattens up in her leg just a little bit. We got another one that just needs some more bone and stoutness to them. I talked to the other exhibitors. We got some body and substance in them. We got some pattern in them. Just don't combine all of it together in terms of having some stoutness to go along with it. Nice class. Very good structure. Good footed female. Got the right kind of look and freshness to win the class.
For Class 3 heavyweights, first place goes to Grant Grubb. Second place, Henrik Wells. Third place, Lucas Gokenauer. Fourth place, Madison Straw-Snyder. Fifth place, Kate Altman. Sixth place, Amelia Scott. And seventh place, Schuyler Zollman. We'll now have our champion heavyweight division drive, with first, second, and third places from classes 1, 2, and 3. From heavyweight class 1, we have Madison Straw-Snyder of Frederick, Henrik Wells from Rockbridge, and Wyatt Manbeck from Augusta. From class 2, first place we had Caitlin Mayberry of Campbell. Second place, Eleanor Picken of Rockingham, and third place, Hayden Wells of Rockbridge. And in Class 3, first place, we had Grant Grubb from Wythe, Henrik Wells from Rockbridge, and Lucas Gokenauer from Shenandoah. For our grand champion drive, we need from the lightweight division, Clara Grubb, Reagan Loker, and Emma Wood. And from the middleweight division, we need Clara Grubb, Samuel Pulliam, and Lucas Gokenauer.
Great way to end our doe show here with our last division. here in the heavyweights, and that Class 1 in this division. Really good pattern. I love the symmetry and lines in this one. She's so strong topped and level hip, ultra smooth in the way her shoulder lays into her. She's got a lot of power, right kind of shape. That's a high quality doe there that won that class. The next one that comes in the line, I think there's probably more power standing on either side of her in terms of true muscle shape. But this female in her own right, she's big ribs, she's high volume, she's soft made. I like her when she gets in motion in terms of her structural design. She probably gives up just a little bit of bone, a little bit of power to either one of them that are in contention here of these three. We come to that heavyweight class. We just talked them on the top of that class and our class winner in the second place. This one's so good at the ground, so true in the way that she wants to go, and her structural design still offers plenty of power and substance. Her look is incredible. I think when you get the side in terms of her proportions, I like that one a great deal. She'll be your champion here in the heavyweight division.
Your champion for the heavyweight division comes from Class 3, exhibited by Grant Grubb. Your reserve champion for heavyweight also comes from Class 3, exhibited by Henrik Wells. And third overall comes from Class 1, exhibited by Madison Strossnyder. As we line up our grand champion commercial doe drive, we want to again thank our judge Harlan Yoakum for being here today at the State Fair of Virginia. He is from Sapulpa, Oklahoma. He operates a family cattle ranch alongside his wife Kira and their 4 children. A graduate of Oklahoma State University, Harlan was a member of the livestock judging team, and he remained deeply involved in the industry. His children actively participate in showing cattle and goats. And let's give him another warm Virginia welcome. Thank you, Harlan Yoakum, for judging our goats this weekend. We'll now call back all of our division drive champion reserves and third overalls for our final champion drive. Our champion from the lightweight division was Clara Grubb out of Wythe County. Our champion out of the middleweight was Clara Grubb from Wythe County. And our champion heavyweight was Grant Grubb out of Wythe County. Our reserve from the lightweight, Reagan Loker. From Clark County. Our reserve from the middleweight was Samuel Pulliam from Giles County. And our heavyweight reserve was Henrik Wells from Rockbridge. Our third overall lightweight was Emma Wood from the lightweight. Our middleweight third overall, Lucas Gokenauer. And our heavyweight third overall, Madison Strossnyder.
Well, once again, let's congratulate them, put our hands together, and big round of applause for all of our doe exhibitors. Certainly been my pleasure to be with you guys this afternoon. I'll be back tomorrow to do the weather show, but it's been a great start to your state fair with showmanship and then the does out here. Tremendous doe show, so much fun. As I said in a couple of them classes, you know, it makes it a lot of fun when you go and judge, and you get some really good ones. You get the differences. Obviously, I know how it is. The people that stand second or third or fourth, you get disappointed. But man, you got to understand it's a high level of competition. It's sure a lot of fun, and there's just a small little differences. And obviously, like everybody tells you, it's just my opinion today and where we line them up. But there's certainly classes I can tell you that there was some close pairs, and you could go back and forth with. And it doesn't mean that your doe doesn't have any value. I promise you. I saw several of them that had some neat breeding piece values, I think, in them. I think some of them were really close to being there that may not be quite there today, and then just some of them just maybe a shade off of what I personally like when I go and line them up. But I can tell you for sure all three of our divisions in these reserves and thirds are very good. They're very high quality, and I think when you get them back out here, you ought to be proud of what you got, young people, for what you put together, because it's hard to get them to this level, to be this good, get them shown and get them presented and get them at 12 o'clock. We all understand the time and effort and a lot of luck that it takes to get them here. So just want to commend you, congratulate you on a very nice doe show. One more time, big round of applause for all the folks here that help us, our ring help. Great show here this evening. We'll go out and we'll get you a top 3 Grand Reserve and 3rd overall.
Your champion commercial doe comes from the heavyweight division, exhibited by Grant Grubb. Your reserve also comes from the heavyweight division, exhibited by Henrik Wells. Third overall comes out of your middleweight division, exhibited by Clara Grubb. That concludes our commercial doe show for today. We'll see you back at 9 o'clock tomorrow.